Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for turning into an episode of Fast Break here on IO Sports Radio. On tonight's broadcast, we talk about the Lakey woes. A lot of shade been thrown around between players and coaches. Are things destined to be broken up, or can they right the ship with the crew they got right now? Plus, is Anthony Edwards a true MVP contender? The Wolves are a surprise team in the NBA, top of the West. Can Anthony Edwards continue his play to be an MVP finalist? Plus, we'll go over scores over the NBA and college basketball over the past week. This is Fast Break, live on iSports Radio, your direct feed for sports, and you're welcome to join us. And join us as you shout tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Lots to talk about, lots to get into tonight. Here for a good show tonight. D-Lock, I know you ain't happy that your Tampa Bay Buccaneers went out earlier this afternoon to the Detroit Lions. But how you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing pretty decent, man. I'm actually obviously every fan with their team go to the Super Bowl, but to be honest with you, man, I'm really proud of my team. I'm happy that my team went as far. Me and you talked plenty times during the season, and I thought we was tanking for Caleb. And we actually went a hell of a lot farther than that. So I'm proud of my team, man. They played extremely well. Now they got some questions that they got to answer during off season, but like I said, I'm always a diehard Bucs fan, so we did well. But I mean, now, like I said, the season is almost up, and basketball is taking over. And on the good side, my Orlando Magic are playing pretty well. So hopefully they can pick it up and repeat something similar to what the Bucs have done.
Let's start with your Orlando Magic. They're up 20 right now against the Miami Heat. 100-80 with 5:14 left in that quarter. Miami, who I saw watch that whole game against the Atlanta Hawks. It was a good back and forth. Nobody really kind of got like a big league in that one. And Dejounte Murray with a last second shot to win the game. Well, he to put the win over his, but he had a chance to score. But Miami lose that close one there. And now they down big to the Orlando Magic. Paolo Pachero has 20 points. Wendell Carter, 17 points, 8 rebounds for him. Radner got 15 points. That's Franz Radner. On the Miami side of things, Bam Adebayo got 20 points, 11 rebounds for him. Jimmy Butler, 15 points. Tyler Hero, just only 12 points right now. Kelly Martin, 11 as well. Kevin Love off the bench, 9 and 6 right now. Let me ask you this about your Orlando Magic. One thing I've been noticing, Wendell Carter's return. And he's been playing pretty damn well. What are your thoughts on his return with the Magic and his play in your eyes?
He has came back playing pretty well. Now he has, Goga has been taking up, when he was hurt, a lot of his minutes. But now when you throw him in that fold of rotations, you got you a few guys that can, somewhat get that good work in, and you're seeing it with Goga and Wendell Carter. Bankera was playing out of his mind. And like I said, this team is putting together something very nice, very young. And I'm liking all of that. Now, in my mind, I think that because of how both Franz Wagner is playing, Bankera was playing, a lot of these guys, there's a good possibility that somebody may be traded because they have so much, and doing a lot. I think there's a possibility that he could move, but with Wendell Carter having, one of those games, 17 points, 8 boards tonight, you got Jalen Suggs out here cooking as well. This team they have the length, they have the bodies, and having Wendell Carter back shows that we needed, we definitely needed to bring him back. Also, we had last year Bo, there, and now with Wendell Carter in, I talked about Jonathan Isaac for the longest. Hopefully this guy can stay healthy, but he's a hit or miss with the minutes that we give him. Sometimes he plays, sometimes he doesn't. But again, I think Wendell Carter coming back is definitely going to help out a lot. But even with him out, Goga had played very well. And now with Wendell Carter back, I think this team is going to continue to make that big jump. Right now, being 2 games above 500. I think they're going to look like we're going to win this next game. They continue to progress. I think we see another sleeper team that could make the playoffs in the East.
I think for your Magic, I mean, they take a little, I'll say a little bit of a slide, but they bounce back in those little bit of slides. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like, they lose a few games and then they, lose a few games. They lose a game here and there, but they bounce back and win a couple straight. And then beating, a Miami team, well, like I said, just lost this past Friday to the Hawks on last second shot. And you're talking about like 2 division teams here. I think, it's good for Orlando that they're winning like this. And, right now that they're on the outside looking in, beating Miami will help. Trying to get back into that top half where they were at earlier this year. And I think, they got a good chance to get back in the top half. We'll talk about Indiana and Siakam here in a little bit. But, only thing that kind of, I look at this. I look at the standings right now for Orlando. Right behind Indiana, right behind Miami. And then you got New York at 5. 2 of those teams, Indiana and New York, have made trades here within the past 2 weeks. And seem like, for New York, pretty good move. Indiana with Siakam. Wait and see. We'll see how it goes. So if you're Orlando, I think Miami is the team you kind of got to chase down. Because looking right behind Orlando, D-Lock, Chicago's there. And, they've been playing okay. Levine's being out of the lineup. He's going to be out a little bit longer. And they, kind of been playing better without him there. No shade, but, calling how I see it. And then you got Atlanta that plays okay at times. And then other times you kind of just wonder, with all that talent on that team, like, what the fuck's going on with them? Sorry for my cussing there, but you kind of look at the teams like, damn, y'all got a lot of dudes that can ball and stuff like that, and
not
y'all,
hitting the expectation.
and just like, what's up with this squad? And after that, you got Brooklyn, Toronto, Charlotte, Washington, Detroit. Even though Toronto, I don't know, Toronto could make a push. Brooklyn can too. Is just like, I don't know. But Orlando, I think they'd be just fine. Like I said, I don't think you ain't catching Boston, Milwaukee, Philly. But those other teams, Cleveland, New York, Miami, Indiana, I think there's a good chance. If the guards stay healthy and play well, I think y'all can catch them. But I'll let you have the last word on Orlando.
I feel like this team is a very young team that can put a lot of pieces together consistently. They got some. They have some wins that on some against some good teams, and I know you sent me that video. The coach,
Oh yeah.
say Coach Mosley, cussing or whatever. So understanding how he, like I say, how he feels with that, but that means that they're raising the expectation, and that's the biggest thing that you want. And so when they continue to get that, I think is a very good thing. And again, we see a lot of teams. We talked about when we seen the younger Warriors team get together and what they could have been. So not to say that this team is going to be the Warriors, but they can be competitive, especially on the East side, the Eastern Conference. But it does mean that it is the consistency. And like I said before, hopefully how they're playing, it draws in other players too, to come to Orlando. You get your one big star. Hopefully that could make a difference. So like I said, they're playing well, and they can continue to keep that up. We may see a team that can, get in the playoffs, get in the 7-game series, and then build from that moving forward because you have your pieces like a Ben Carroll, Jalen Suggs, and Wendell Carter. So, and others. But like I said, right now, I'm definitely liking what I'm seeing. They just have to continue to keep it moving forward, and I think this could be a competitive team, in the East in the near future.
So right now, yeah, they are up. Put back here. 104-85 with 157 left in the fourth quarter. So they should hang on to that lead. From earlier today, the Brooklyn Nets lose to the Clippers 114-125. The Clippers had a big fourth quarter, outscoring the Nets 41-15. So that was big time right there. For the Clippers, 24 points for James Harden, along with 10 assists. Kawhi Leonard, 21 points. Terrence Mann, 13. Paul George, 12. Russ off the bench has 23 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists as well. For the Brooklyn side of things, Bridges had 26. Spencer Dinwiddie had 16 and 7 assists. Nicholas Claxton had 16 points. Cam Thomas off the bench had 20 points along with 6 assists. So you got that. I watched the Nets play the Lakers have an ID lock. And there's a report about Spencer Dinwiddie saying, in less terms, that he's been quiet quitting against for the Nets this year. And for some of y'all new to the show or listen to this or know this about us, we play FanDuel, daily fantasy sports. And when I saw that and they played the Lakers, and he's been struggling. You know what I did, D-Lock? I had Dinwiddie in a couple lineups just in case.
Yeah.
And wouldn't you know, while I was watching that game against them and the Lakers, and let me pull it up real quick. That man had 19 points, 4 for 8 from shooting. Probably had one of his better scoring games this year. But I bring up Brooklyn ideas, D-Lock. We've seen reports by Spencer Dinwiddie, I guess, being unhappy. Even though he's been playing terrible this year. We'll just call it how to see it. Jock Vaughn is like hot and cold on Cam Thomas when you want to start or play on or come off the bench. I don't care where he comes at. Give the kid at least 25 minutes per night. But he's got to be playing, not no DNPs. They're asking for, get this, multiple first round picks for Dorial Finney-Smith. So, in your eyes, Brooklyn's at one of those middle road teams. What do you see? How you evaluate this team so far this year? It seemed like, a lot of shooting themselves in the foot to be at least a halfway team. What are your thoughts on the Nets so far this season?
To be honest, I would call it very inconsistent. To your point, we have not seen Spencer Dinwiddie do a lot this year. Very inconsistent. Excuse me. I think that Cam Thomas has been the person on this team that has done a lot, and I think should get more recognition. You talked about it last year. You were saying, he should get more minutes. He ended up putting him in, and then he would get the minutes, and then being very shaky with it. This team is like they're just not, things are not clicking with them. We're talking about a team that had a Kevin Durant, a Kyrie, and a James Harden at one point. That was just a few years ago. So now with the rebuild, Bridges, who is, clearly I think the one that's scoring the most points for this team, they continue turning down deals for him. They want to build around him, but I feel like the guys that they have, Bridges, Cam Thomas, Dinwiddie, Lonnie Walker, like you got all these guys, like they just could not put it together, and it's not looking good. Also, let's not forget, it started out with Ben Simmons healthy. We haven't seen him in hell forever. So, I think asking for all them damn picks of Finney-Smith is just crazy. That's my first thought process.
Yep.
I just think that that's overly doing it. Asking for so much for someone that hasn't had that good of production. And, now you ask for that, it just, insane. I would love to see more from Claxton. But this team can't get right, man. We knew what was going to happen when they had the pieces that they had and they traded them away. And it just seems like, nothing is happening for him. Jock Vaughn I don't know how much longer he stays there. I think, like I said, they got to get in a situation where they rebuild again. And we talked about this when it came to them making the trade for all of the guys that they did. So this team they're getting in their own way, and with the situation, I was one of the ones that was really high on Ben Simmons, right? I was one of the ones saying, well, hell, Philly, they ran him out of Philly. He's going to still be a pretty solid player, but he has not fully recovered. Seems like he played a little bit and now he's been out for a while. So that might be a project that they may have to move on from. But the Nets are showing us that they're showing us that this team cannot. We don't know what their plan is. We don't know what the front office is doing. Are they really trying to be competitive? Or are they just throwing guys out there because they have a basketball team and showing that they have control? And like I said, Dinwiddie, like I said, having that game and being very inconsistent. Because this first run with the Nets, like we talked about, looked like a totally different person or a different athlete. So for me, like I said, I think the inconsistent about this team, man. I mean, I definitely don't like it. Hell, if it wasn't for the Pistons playing as bad as they were, the Nets could definitely be, in that range as one of the worst teams in the NBA.
I think for the Nets, you gotta know where you want to be. I think they said they want to build with Brown, Mikal Bridges, and stuff like that. I mean, that's fine, but if you like the perfect situation for Mikal Bridges was in Phoenix. Down the pecking order, third guy behind like Booker and DeAndre Ayton. And not DeAndre, maybe like Chris Paul. Perfect situation there. Here, I mean, he showed flashes that he can score, big time points, but it's not on a consistent level that, like, oh my gosh, he's up there with Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Luka, Anthony Edwards, all that. If you're talking about like an Anthony Edwards type season he's having, okay, I could believe what Brooklyn's selling about building around him, but I don't think he's on that type of level. And with this Brooklyn team, they came out, and especially that third quarter against the Lakers, they looked great in that third quarter. Guards were getting them what they want, getting 4-point plays, all that good stuff. So, I like Jekyll and Hyde team, like Terry Rodriguez brought in the chat. The 22-0 run in that fourth quarter. That's bad. That's bad basketball right there. At some point, Jock Bond, you got call timeout, get somebody's ass in, get on somebody's ass or something. And I think at times this team could have been better, but it kind of goes back to coaching. Him and Steve Nash, it's kind of like just being too inconsistent. And that's probably a reason why Jacques Bond, after his Orlando Magic run as a coach, never really got like a sniff as a coach ever again in the NBA. So, it was about last year in the playoffs against Philly. Cam Thomas at one point was had a 40-point games and multiple back-to-back games. Your team desperately needed scoring. Why are you not playing this young kid who can give you a scoring spark? Sometimes it's like backward thinking, you know, coaching and all that stuff. It's just like, damn, man, why y'all shooting yourselves in the foot? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's what they continue. We talked about that. Is you shooting yourself in the foot when one of your best scorers on the team is not getting minutes, and that's Cam Thomas.
Yeah. And and like I said, this thing you gotta look and see where they want to go. If somebody offer you 4 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges, I don't know who that team is. But if they are, shit, man, you gotta take that deal. 4 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges, hey, you gotta take that deal. And I think that could, help jumpstart your rebuild process that way. And kind of go about it and trying to get like a young prospect down the line. You're not going anywhere. The Knicks, they are right now. So let them get the headlines. And then once that implodes in New York, and we know it will with Tom Thibodeau coaching, and then you dare to pick up the bones and maybe get a chance to kind of, make some waves in New York. But this is like Sean Marks, you're asking for 2 first-round picks for Finney Smith, and Finney Smith is a fine player, but come on now, he's a role player. He's a good, solid role player. You're not getting 2 first-round picks for a role player like that.
Hell no.
And it's just amazing that he still got a job there. But look at his owner, and you can see why. But D-Lock, I want to switch gears because Nets, and we talked about the Lakers here a little bit, but the Lakers, they lost to these Nets this past Friday. And I watched that game, D-Lock. And for a lot of y'all don't know, it snowed here in the South. We got snow and ice here in North Alabama. And a lot of folks were stuck in their homes because, it don't happen too much here. And boy, I stayed in and watched a lot of shit, D-Lock. And this game here, it's kind of one of those things I kind of wish I hated to watch, but it's something to do while it snowed in somewhat. But the Lakers look pretty good that first half, D-Lock. I ain't gonna lie. But like we mentioned about the second half, that third quarter, I don't know what the hell is going on. They just let the guards get what they want. I mean, Anthony Davis played fine. LeBron played fine. Russell played fine. It's just, I don't know, this defense just sucked ass. And then post game, you see D'Lo throwing shade a little bit. Darvin Ham said, kind of frustrated, start calling guys out more and all that stuff. There's trade rumors with this team. Maybe looking at Dejounte Murray. If they can't get him, they may shift down to like Colin Sexton and Tyus Jones. D-Lock. The Lakers, since this in-season tournament, has been one of the worst teams in the NBA. We're going to be real about that. Besides the Pistons and Spurs and Wizards. Do you think making a move could help this team, or will making a move just keep them, spinning in circles in the ice? I see what I did there.
Well, yeah. For me, I mean, making a move depends on who they're moving. I mean, this is like a conversation that we have about the Lakers often, or LeBron's teams anyway. Um, so moving a few pieces, we got to figure out who that is. And I feel like, if you do move somebody, you're gonna that chemistry that you built with that in tournament championship, it kind of definitely hurts big time. Um, I ain't gonna lie, I did definitely see it was kind of weird seeing that Anthony Davis was questionable for the game, but yet we damn sure seen him catching passes on the sideline at the 49ers game. But that's a different story for a different day. So I don't think it's necessarily moving a few pieces. I just think that this team has to refocus. That in-season tournament championship was cool. The first year they got paid for it, all of that. But what did it solve? There's still NBA Finals that needs to be won, and they have to focus back on that. Also, another thing I think, and this is, I guess you can't say it's not necessarily a bad thing, but also not a good thing as well. Bronny's playing, so I kind of think that also shifts LeBron's attention elsewhere as well.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people would want to mention and say, but I think that his attention could be someone, which is natural. I mean, son is in college. We talked about it off air. Son being in the same, at USC, in the same area, that could also draw a lot of attention somewhere else as well. So for me, I think moving pieces is not necessarily to fix it. I just think that this team needs to refocus, and focus back on what is at stake, because it just seems like a lot of different things is going on, and also, I guess it's also you are a Laker, we talked about it. It seemed like Anthony Davis had a different type of focus when he was before he won a championship, and now ever since then it's just not the same thing. So for me, I think that this team has to get refocused, because they're in a situation where they can possibly, be at the bottom and be barely making the play-in, or hell, not even making the playoffs. And I think if that does happen, now you definitely have head coaching, questions, moving pieces questions coming off season. But the NBA Finals is the goal, and it seems like a lot of different things are going on. I think that this team just needs to get back on schedule, refocus on what's at stake. And I feel like they are. They have a sense of focus, but there's different things going on that is giving them distractions. And I think if they were to move pieces, I think that could definitely hurt the chemistry that they already have.
I think it's just like, I don't know, man. It's just like, I don't know what, I don't know which way to go with this team. It's like Anthony Davis has been playing bad, and LeBron been playing bad. It's just like, Austin Reeves, he plays good in spurts, and he's real good coming alive late. especially in close games. But sometimes you kind of want to get him start out the block a little bit quicker. And with D'Lo, if his shot ain't falling, he ain't bringing anything else to the table. Torian Prince, it's a sign I really liked. Yeah, a guy that I thought he would do some damage with the Lakers, but it just really haven't at time it really materialized. You know, and I think the injuries does play a factor. Gabe Vincent being out. How many games has he played? Gabe Vincent, only playing like a handful of games. Hasn't, factored to things. Rui Hachimura, same thing. He's been injured in and out as well. Vanderbilt missed a good chunk early season, stuff like that. So it's just like the injuries, the bad play of guys, and then some of these teams are just better. You know, the Clippers. Kawhi Leonard's playing more. I think he's back to health or good health. Added James Harden to help things. Playing better. Phoenix Suns. Seem like those guys have finally stay on the court together, playing better. Um, the Timberwolves have been a surprise this year. Same thing with OKC. And on side note, OKC. For the update on Josh Giddey, the Newport California police said they're not going to press charges or pursue a case against him for the alleged, how you want to spin it with the underage lady. So they're not going to pursue that. But the league said they are investigating in the matter. So they letting the police do their thing first. The police ain't gonna do anything, probably because he got paid off, or they got paid off. But anyways, the league gonna look into it. So there's the update on Josh Giddey and his situation, which I don't know what's gonna happen with that. But anyways, so all these teams and every team is better. Golden State in the same boat as the Lakers, D-Lock. If you really think about it, Steph's playing fine, but it seems like the other folks around him either ain't playing well or they suspended or hurt. Or you got young guys frustrated. So with the Lakers, man, will making a move help things? I don't know, man. If they trade for Colin Sexton, Tyus Jones, Dejounte Murray, it may provide a spark for a good few games, but what's the long haul of that? Dejounte Murray, he was with the Spurs for like many years, and I'm be real, he really did. I mean, good, fine player, but he didn't move the needle like that with popping the Spurs. Gets to Atlanta, not really moving the needle for Atlanta like that. Now, of course, to get to LA, be like the third option, which probably a good fit for him, but is he gonna move the needle like that? So I think sometimes we gotta start having these honest questions, about some of these players in the league. Can you move the needle like that? That's just my question as a fan looking at the outside of this. Like, Can Carlson move the needle like that? Tyus Jones, Murray, can they move the needle for this Laker team? For a team that should not be aiming for just for the play-in, at least a 6 seed. I don't want to see them put themselves in a situation like that again, like it was last year, and fighting on the road and all that stuff. You can't do that again this upcoming year. Cannot. So they played the Blazers tonight. The Blazers beat the Pacers the other night. With Pascal Siakam making his debut, but you know, can they right the ship against the Blazers? Can they slow down Jeremy Grant? Not let him get off. Can you not let George Walker, who I saw playing against the Pacers, had a hell of a strong fourth quarter, scoring down low and rebounding the hell of the ball. Can you stop those type of guys in key moments? Put it to this D-Lock. Do you got hunger and motivation to as the Lakers to play your best all 48 minutes? Because at times we don't see that. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
And I definitely was agreeing with you. I mean, the hunger is what drives a lot of these teams. And, at this point, we have. Remember, I said early, a few episodes ago, and I continue to say it. The season starts, later at the end of each year, but in the beginning of the year, that's when the season actually gets going for the NBA. Now, they did put the NCAA tournament in there to get teams to, know what games are important, reward them, stuff like that. But at this point, the season is still going. We're in January, and although the NCAA tournament has been rewarded, you still have the NBA finals that you're trying to have. And these teams have to be able to stay focused on that. The Timberwolves are playing extremely well right now. They seem like they're a team that is focused on wanting to be a contender. Oklahoma City Thunder right now are a team that is playing extremely well right now. They seem like a team that wants to be a contender. Milwaukee Bucks are playing extremely well right now. They're looking like a team that wants to be a contender. So when you see some of these teams with the expectations, they are continuing to show that they're focused. And I think that's one thing that, we've seen. The Pacers just made a huge trade going to get Siakam. They made a big move to go get somebody that is going to help them move forward and be competitive. So for me, these teams are showing that they want to go get that title. And for the Lakers, we need to see that move. Hell, I even say my Orlando Magic look like a team that wants to be competitive to get in the playoffs. So again, we can see the differences in those. And I just think that now this is that stretch of the season where it's probably the most important. Because now, this is where the seeding, those continuous game, back-to-back games are most important. The Clippers are looking like a team that is determined to be a contender as well. So, again, you asked me about the Lakers possibly making a trade. Well, hell, the Lakers aren't the only team that's going to look to try to make a trade. I think you're going to see other teams that are going to be trying to make trades as well to get better. So, the Lakers need to get, like I said, get refocused and get right because they're not the only team that had these expectations. And like I said a few episodes back, okay, you won the championship, but now the target is on your back big time. Although the Denver Nuggets is the NBA champs, but now you go and win the in-season tournament and you hang a banner. Hell, even Shaq talked about what type of banner it was. Like the attention is on the Lakers, as if it already wasn't. You're bringing in. I got LeBron and Anthony Davis, winning a title a couple years ago, with the expectation of the Lakers. Now you go win the instant tournament. Now teams are really paying attention to you. So at this point, this is the part of the season where these teams need to lock in because these games are the most important, depending on what's going to happen come the playoffs.
So we'll always keep our eye on Lakers, and I did see a thing that Deontay Murray trade offer of Russell Hood Shafino, 2029 first round pick and ever compensation. That's one trade.
I've seen it as well.
That's one trade on the table. Other teams that seem to be interested in Deontay Murray as well. The Bucks seem like they are hopping in the sweepstakes as well, along a couple other teams. So we'll see what happens on that front. But I think if I had to put a bet on it, I think Deontay Murray, he probably will get traded at least by the deadline. So let's put a bookmark on the Lakers right now. Switching gears before we get here, let's go over some college basketball scores real quick. Today's scores: Tulane, the upset over Memphis, 89-71. Big time win for Tulane in conference play. Despite 32 points for David Jones for Memphis, Tulane got the upset at home, 81-79. Illinois beat Rutgers 86-63. In overtime, FAU beat Texas San Antonio 112-103. Texas with a big time buzzer beater win over Baylor 75-73. And Rodney Terry probably throwing those horns up and happy and smiling against those in-state rivals, Baylor Bears. Marquette, 1-point win over St. John's, 73-72. A lot of close games this past weekend. Creighton, 3-point win over in overtime over Seton Hall, 97-94. Dayton. And people trying to write off Anthony Grant, but I think I said about a year or so ago, like, give the man patience. Give the man patience. He lost his daughter and all that stuff. So get that man patience. But he got this team right back up, 21 ranked in the country. They beat Rhode Island 96-62. Oklahoma wins against Cincinnati 69-65. Houston beats UCF 57-42. Alabama caught a beatdown up in Knoxville 91-71. Iowa State beat TCU by 1, 73-72. Purdue wins against Iowa 84-70. North Carolina 74-66. West Virginia with the big win over Kansas 91-85. Bill Self was very, very, very upset during that game. UCLA had a little mini streak going, but they fall to Arizona 77-71. Utah State beats Fresno State 83-62. Kentucky beats Georgia 105-96. Texas Tech beat BYU 85-78. UConn squeaks by Villanova 66-65. Pitt School you work for right now beat Duke on the road, 80-76,
Yes, sir. HTP.
with 24 points from Henson for the Panthers.
Finally.
uh, Philosky for Duke had 19 points, 20 points for McCain for Duke, but it wasn't enough against the Panthers. And Capel must be really motivated in that game going back to Chapel Hill. And then Auburn, who's been kind of routing folks in SEC play, beat Ole Miss 82-59. And then I watched this past Saturday Arizona USC. Arizona State, beat USC 82-67. I watched that game, especially the second half. And I know they didn't have Collier and Boogie Ellis starting for USC, but my God. Without those two guys, you can tell that team is just different looking. The big man, I would Chuku, he's uncoordinated as hell. I don't care. He had 14 points for rebounds. That dude is uncoordinated as hell as the big man. DJ Rodman, good athlete, but he should stop shooting. I don't want to say stop shooting. Let me rephrase that. I mean, he needs to work on his shot. I put it that way. Bronny had 7 points, D-Lock, 5 assists, 4 rebounds. You know, just at times, I see him handle the balls. It's like the offense is stagnant. Nobody was moving. It's just like I don't know what Andy Enfield is trying to do. It's like he didn't have the other two guys, and I give up. It's like, what are we doing here, dog? But 20 points for Perez for Arizona State. Bobby Hurley, kind of chill on the technicals, dude. I will say that as well. Women's side of things, real quick. Today's scores: Iowa with the big time win. Ohio State with the big time over Iowa in overtime, 100-92. So Ohio State got that lick back from last week. NC State wins over Duke 72-57. Virginia Tech beat Clemson 74-62. Creighton beating over Villanova 63-49. North Carolina beating Louisville 79-68. Virginia beating 15 ranked Florida State at 91-87. Indiana beating Purdue 74-68. Notre Dame over Race Forward 75-56. Colorado beating USC 63-59 on that one. Colorado, a team that we shouldn't sleep on come tournament time. South Carolina beat the brakes out of Texas A&M 99-64. And then Stanford beat Oregon State 65-56. And LSU beats down Arkansas 99-68 as well. So D-Lock, going back to that Bronny game, we kind of talked about it a little bit off the air a little bit. Do you think USC was the move for him to go? After seeing the little handful of games that we saw, him coming back on us and with USC, do you think USC was the move for him basketball wise?
I know he wants to be close to his parents, be at home, and I understand it, but um, for somebody at his age, this could be very distracting. I mean, for one, your dad is LeBron James, and you already have the expectation to follow in his footsteps as being one of the better players in the NBA or ever. Um, and two, you're in Los Angeles. Like that alone is going to be a distraction. And then you're at home with your family. So there could be so much that could set up a distraction. And, for me, I think that it could be more so hurting than helping. And this is just where it, with so much going on, it might be better if he were, kind of to go somewhere else and kind of cut the umbilical cord. Because, right now it just seems as if, although USC is a big school, with expectations, but hell, they were talking about him playing with his son before he even got to. I mean, they were talking about him playing with his dad before he even got to college. So I think that being there is could be a big distraction thing. I think it may be possibly going somewhere else would probably be a bright idea because, like I said, having your dad right next to you with those expectations, it could be very distraction and demanding. And obviously, him not starting at first lets you know that things are not going as planned. And I told you, I said, hell, to be honest with you, I don't think he's playing that well right now. So I think he could have been somewhere else and ease the pressure off.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, just kind of watching that game yesterday, him getting that starting lineup, getting that bulk share of the minutes in the backcourt. I was thinking, like, this ain't it. And I figured LeBron and his brain trust would have had, you know, better sense to have him put in the best situation. I'm not saying going across the street to UCLA and play for Mick Cronin. Hell no. But I think, with a name like that, you kind of had, I don't say pick the litter, but I think there've been other schools and stuff to kind of molded him better. Bill Self in Kansas. Uh, Chris Beard at Ole Miss, but do the James family want to go down to off Oxford, Mississippi? You know what I'm saying? I doubt Nate Oates and company looked at him. Maybe, maybe not. Bruce Pearl, maybe, maybe not. I don't know if they threw him a scholarship offer or not. Uh, I know Oregon, they did had an offer for him. I think that may have been the look right there. But I just think before we get out of here, and we kind of talked about off air a little bit. I think Bronny should at least consider to come back one more year. You know, if it's gonna be the UFC, hey, fine, cool. But if he come back for caution every year, I think at least consider another school. Just my humble opinion. But I'll let you have last word.
I mean, I think that him coming back to school is already something that has to happen. Him leaving is not wise. So I think that him coming back is almost a guarantee at this point, unless he just starts to go on a tear and he takes over. Going to another school is something that he should also consider as well. Again, we talked about distraction for the Lakers. I know LeBron has done so much successful things in his life, but I know getting another title is something that he wants. And maybe his son being in school somewhere else could, kind of have his focus change slightly. But I think that him being at a different school is something that, is a must. Because, like I said, being at USC, you going home anytime you want, living the LA life, like that could be, that could be doing more hurt than harm. Not everybody can be able to handle that. Quick story. I know one thing about being in Tallahassee, going to Florida State. If you are not focused, if you cannot be a focused student, then Tallahassee is not the place for you. Because there's so much going on. You got all these schools, FAMU, TCC, Tallahassee Community College, and Florida State. Like there's so much different things, so many different parties, these different things. If you cannot be focused, then that's not the place for you to be. So I can only imagine being in Los Angeles, where you at UCLA, USC, and you got all these celebrities. And on top of that, your dad is considered one of the greatest players to ever step on the basketball court. So, again, I think coming back to school is something that definitely is going to happen. Just in my mind, I think that going to school, like you said, is the right idea.
So yeah, so we'll always keep an eye on Bronny and see what USC fortunes turn around. Like I said, I mean we're deep in conference play. Look at the last season for the Pac-12. Can't believe I'm really saying that, but it's a reality, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, USC in conference play is 2-6, just above Oregon State, who is last place. And then you got Cal, UCLA, and Washington, all 3-5. Washington State 4-4, Utah 5-3, Colorado 5-3, Stanford 5-3, and then you got Arizona State who's 5-2, Oregon is 5-2, and Arizona 5-2, all tied up for first place. So, can USC get on a little roll to get past Cal, Washington, and UCLA? A good possibility. But also, if the injuries still hold up, they can still stay down at the bottom where they at. So, we'll see with the Pac-12. But this being our show tonight, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in with us here on iSports Radio. Your Dory Free Fall is sports. D-Lock, how can the people find you on social media, sir?
You guys can find me at Black-813 on Twitter. I will be doing some, talk about my Bucks for the next few tweets. And Instagram, you can see me at dlock813. Also, I'll be posting a few things up there. But also getting ready for our next track meet as well, and get ready for Pitt's next huge basketball game. Let them know they can find you at the show's page.
You can find the show's page on X/Twitter at FastBreakISR. That's FastBreakISR. I do want to shout out to the chat. Thank you for the chat. Joining with us. Taryn Rodriguez, how you doing tonight, sir? Ralph Khalees, how you doing tonight? Thank you for typing in. So I appreciate the chat tonight. Do follow me on Twitter on my personal account at Spawn4288. That's Spawn4288. I do have a show this how I call the Crooks Process. You can follow the show on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook at the Crooks Process. On Instagram and Facebook, you'll see the CP logo in the profile image. Do give me a follow there. I worked on 2 episodes. One talk about Alabama and their coaching change, all that stuff, and one talk about the Titans coaching search and Mike Rebel getting fired. I had a chance to record it because life happens, all that stuff. But I'll get those episodes dropped as soon as possible. But be on the lookout for those. But till then, ladies and gentlemen, we'll talk to y'all next week, close to the end of the month in January, and the dread deadline and All-Star Weekend around the corner. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.